How did you get involved? Did you do the jazz band at TCU?
No, it didn't. I took about a year and a half or 2 years of jazz guitar as an elective with Tom Burchill, who was a fantastic teacher. Mm-hmm. And it was cool because he knew I never really wanted to aspire to be like a straight ahead jazz guitar player. So he would teach me jazz and jazz harmony as it applied to what I wanted to do. And so that was really neat. I actually learned some cool compositional techniques from him.
Yeah.
So that was a fun little...
That's a good foresight to have as a teacher. A lot of teachers
he was really good at that.
A lot of teachers would go, no, this is what you need to learn.
Right.
Either learn it or get out of my face.
Yeah, he was, I mean, the first 30 minutes of the lesson would be him just telling me funny jazz stories.
Right.
And they'd be like, hey, you want to play a tune, man? Let's play some music. And then we would do it, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you asked that because there was always because they had a jazz band at TCU, but they didn't have a jazz degree.
Right.
So the big band was like an elective for students that were like some other kind of music major, like music ed or something like that. Mm-hmm. But they would have these like jazz combo concerts.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they would always call me to come play guitar.
Nice.
And so, like, I don't know if the band director's like, who's this guy that keeps playing in all your bands? Like, what? Yeah. What does he do? Yeah. Is he even a student here?
He runs track. He's not even a musician.
Doing here? So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. There was a cool little music community at TCU. I had a band there called The League, and we were kind of like a funk rock jam band, so to speak. It was like a trio that occasionally was a quartet, and we used to gig at Schooners, if you remember. I do remember Schooners. And The Moon.
I remember The Moon.
And I think we may have played the Aardvark a couple times, but there was a cool little scene, a couple other bands that were around TCU at the time. I think that was when Green River Ordnance was like kind of blowing up, and there was another band called Free the Leaf. And they were like really good friends of ours, and we would play frat parties together all the time. I just loved their name. I think they're called The Boss Level now.
Okay.
Yeah. Daniel Hardaway and those guys. Yeah. Those are the homies, man.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Those
Justin Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else was? Jeff Daisy was around then, and a couple other guys.
Justin still plays with me every now and then.
Yeah.
Justin's
Barbie. Around, and Jeff is with Leon.
He's with Leon, yeah. He was with JJ Gray.
Okay,
for a little while.
Right, yeah.
He catapulted off of the Greyhounds into JJ Gray's band.
Okay,
it's a bunch of their dudes live in Austin.
Gotcha.
And that would be an awesome tour to be on. I love JJ Gray and Mofro.
Yeah,
that's some cool stuff.
Yeah,
but Leon Bridges,
not a bad gig.
Hard to argue with that one too. Yeah,
not a bad gig.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of good musicians from that era that are kicking around and doing,
I'm glad that
cool
people
stuff.
have stuck with it and
yeah,
kind of figure out a way to make it, man.
Yeah. Going back to, there's a million different ways to do it, you know, for whatever your skill set is.
Right.
I'm between records right now, and so I'm not booking full band shows. So I took it upon myself to become just a sideman.
Cool.
And so I've been playing for a bunch of different people, and I've been playing mostly organ and
right.
keyboard.
I remember that. You said you had that in your van when I went there.
Yeah, I have been doing that mostly, and it's been so much fun because I've never focused. I've been playing piano since I was 5.
Yeah,
and so I can do it, and it's cool, but I never focused on that as a craft that I would want to do to get hired to do that. Is I play guitar specifically because it's really hard to look cool rocking out and singing sitting down behind a piano.
Well, depends who you ask.
Well, that's what I thought when I was in high school. So I started playing guitar so I could stand up and move around. I'm going back to that now for this next record. It's going to be real piano heavy. But
cool, man.
But I did that for that, and then I went, okay, well, wait, I can play guitar and keyboard, and then maybe that'll get me more gigs, and it totally has.
That's great.
Between those two things in harmony. So there's a million different ways to make a living doing this.
Yeah, I mean, talk about multi-instrumentalist. Like, that's almost like a prerequisite in Nashville.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, okay, you play guitar. Do you also play mandolin? You're like, no.
right.
Okay, cool. On to the next guy.
Yeah. And there's a line of people who do.
Yeah, I would be screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, I can play bass, but that's not that big of a deal. I need to learn how to play fiddle or oboe.
I don't know that you need to do that.
Well,
necessarily.
You never know, man.
You do never know.
Figure out the banjo. Maybe.
I'm not very familiar with Philip Phillips. What I'm familiar with in his group is that JT plays for him.
Yes.
And JT's like...
He's probably the best drummer in the world. Or one of them.
Blows my mind on a regular basis.
Yeah. Jason Thomas, for those of you who are not
Jason
familiar.
Thomas. I came into contact with him 2011.
Mm-hmm.
He played on my record that I made in 2012.
Right.
And I was given his number by somebody, and I knew who he was already. And it was really just one of those things where I asked him, assuming he would say no, and he just happened to have those few days off, and was like, "Sure, here's my price." And I said, "Yeah, whatever it is, just send me an invoice, and we'll do it." And I remember I stuck him in the tracking room at Nomad Studios in Dallas, Carrollton, and with Chris Gibson on bass.
Yeah.
And I had sent him demos that we made, so he had all the stuff charted out. And the two of them locked in so hard. Chris is a phenomenal bass player.
Sure.
And on that kind of funky, groovy soul stuff. And so he locked in so hard with him. And I was in there just in the control room just going, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like JT on my record. So that's funny. I haven't seen him since then. I don't know if he would even remember that. But
he knows who you are. I told him, I was like, we're getting the van from Chris. He's like, oh yeah, man, I remember playing that.
That's awesome.
Fond memories.
That's awesome. Yeah, we had such a good time. And that record turned out to be pretty cool, but but he's just a monster player. My introduction to him, I think, was when he was with Marcus Miller.
Yep.
In the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And they did this DVD, and I think Bobby Sparks was on that.
Probably.
Same
And Keith
DVD.
Anderson, I think, was probably
Keith
playing
Anderson
sax.
for sure was playing saxophone, and I was like, oh, these DFW people, just go DFW.
Yep.
So, and then getting him to do that was really cool. And I wanted to it was a total shot in the dark. I didn't think he would do it at all. And then he did.
Man, that's the cool thing about him, dude, is just like he just plays music.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And he played it exactly like it needed to be played. Yep. He didn't try to turn it into something. He played it amazingly, but it fit all the songs were what they needed to be.
Yeah.
And it was really cool experience. So I'm glad to see, guys like him and you and guys like that just doing so well all the time.
Thanks,
and getting to play with so many cool people. And Keith Anderson was playing with Prince for up until his untimely death.
Yeah.
And I would always tell people that I'd see him on TV and go, that guy lives in Fort Worth.
That guy lives in Arlington.
Yeah. He's just like, I used to watch Full of Soul.
Yeah.
With him and Bobby and I don't remember who the bass and drums were.
It was
a long time ago.
Well, we used to play pretty regularly. Todd Parsons used to do the gig a lot on guitar.
Yeah.
Fantastic guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck Smith would play bass. I don't know if you know Chuck Smith.
I know that name. And
Tall
I saw
guy
them.
plays a six string.
I saw them a bunch of times.
Yeah, and Bernard Wright used to play keys with them.
Every now and then.
Well, we used to play at the original Buttons
before it moved.
Before it became another place and then moved.
It was over on Camp Bowie.
No, it wasn't Buttons. It was Ovation.
Ovation over on Camp Bowie.
Right by the
Keith's
theater, Ridgely Theater.
That's where I used to see Full of Soul all the time.
That was the band.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have recordings of it.
Yeah.
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 I think
and
Keith
would be behind a big drum shield and
Those were fun nights, man.
Yeah.
Because we could play whatever we wanted. And
I may have seen you up there a handful of times because I used to go up there a lot and watch them.
I'd played there several times. And that, you know what? That's interesting because that club, people came and people listened and people respected it.
Yeah.
And they got great drinks and great food. So it's like, why can't this happen in more places?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that really worked. That was a shame that place isn't around. But
he's trying to do that with Buttons.
Yeah, it's a different vibe.
It's
the cover thing is kind of where their focus is, I think, though.
And it's too big of a restaurant to be a music venue.
True.
Because the stage is so small. The handful of times that I've played in there, I used to do this thing on Wednesday nights with Rodney Bowens. Mm-hmm. We were doing this little R&B review.
Yeah.
And it was all about volume. Just don't run people out.
Right.
Play it loud enough to where they can dance if they want to, but not to where they can't talk. And that was a big thing. And it's like, well, they offered me and my 8-piece funk band a few times.
And you were like,
I told them every time.
Horns.
I said every time, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
We're too loud.
The trumpets are pointing at people's heads.
Yeah, you can't. There's no volume knob on a trumpet.
Right.
You can't. So I always wanted to play in there. Same thing with SCAT. I got offered to play SCAT several times, but they would always say, if you come in here, you're either going to sell it out and then you can play as loud as you want because there's people there to see you. That's what Daisy Chain used to do that.
Okay.
If you remember Daisy Chain.
Absolutely.
They would play at SCAT, but they would literally be sold out before they even started, so they could play as loud as they want because no one's going to leave. But if you just go in there and play to their people and you're too loud, they're out of there immediately.
Right.
And I said, well, we're just too loud. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I'd love to do that because I would love to play in there.
Right.
But we're just too loud, you know? So we had to stick to the Magnolia Motor Lounge. Has been really good to us. They don't care.
Good.
We can be as loud as we want in there.
That's a cool place.
I really like that venue.
Yeah.